All right, welcome back to another episode of Commission Breath. Today you have myself as another solo episode, Tom here. And it's going to be a different format than what we usually do. As usually with solo episodes, we like to dive into one topic. That's kind of the premise of our show. Is we pick one thing and we want to like squeeze the juice out of it, give as much value as possible for that one topic. So a lot of the things that maybe come to mind that are happening in my life from maybe the business, personal, health, wealth side of things, I can't really fit it into the regular episodes that we do. So I thought of maybe we do a quarterly broker complete talk. That's what we're calling it. Broker complete, where we're showing up and I'm talking about all of these different things that I normally can't fit into one episode. So it's kind of like a Q&A episode format, only there's no questions, which we might bring into in the future. We might do a Q&A as well. But for now, we're going to test this out. And by the end of this episode, what I hope from you as a listener is to give me feedback as to whether you like this format. And I want you to be brutally honest. Like, I can take the criticism if you think, like, hey, you know what, just like take it out entirely. I love what you guys are doing. Or maybe it's, yeah, I like the variety, keep that in. Then we're going to do that. And maybe this will be like, say, a quarterly or bi monthly thing that we do. It's not going to be every episode, obviously. We're still going to stick to what we normally do. But one thing that we realized in our business is that we're doing a lot of the same things. And as a partnership, what you want from that is you want to be able to leverage the fact that you have two people that can go out and grow the business. So, what we realized was yes, we love doing the dual episodes. And don't worry, we're going to still continue doing that. But to do it every episode, if you think about it, that's two of us sitting down for call it 30 minutes to an hour, and that's taken us out of our business. The realization I had was, why don't we do more solo episodes, which I hope you guys like. I think the solos are just as good, if not better sometimes. So if we have more solos in both Commission Breath and Canadian Mortgage Guide, that's going to free up approximately 2 hours a week. And that 2 hours towards prospecting or whatever else we're doing. Maybe it's creating another video for our YouTube channel. Like that's going to compound over time. So that's what we're testing out right now. And for the broker complete chats that we're testing out today, I'm going to touch on some health topics, some business stuff, of course, and really just anything that's going on in my life that I think can help you guys and just be brutally honest with everything. So, first thing I wanted to chat about was I just moved into a new home. So, it's been about 30 days in my new home, and my routine just went out the window. Like it was non existent. And I knew that I needed to get back to basics with my routine and optimize my mornings, but it was very hard because everything was kind of a mess in my life. If you've ever moved, it sucks. Like it's not fun, but I was always like, oh, whatever. Like we'll just get everything done. We'll have it done in 2 weeks, but it took longer than that, especially when you have kids. Like I have a 1 year old. He's just over one. And you had to take turns on who was watching him while the other person was moving everything else in. And when you have a pregnant wife, she also can't lift anything. So it was just me kind of doing all of the actual moving while she was watching him. And of course, when you have a busy business, it's hard to get to it. So this isn't me just kind of whining. It's more so like I came to the realization that I needed to get back to my regular routine. So once we had everything done in this house, I look back on the most success I've had from like my business in general. And I knew that like my leads were actually starting to slip over the past couple months. So I was like, all right, what can I do to get back to where I was? And I realized it started with the morning. So I was waking up at 7 a.m. over the past 30 days. And I used to wake up at 4:30, which was actually a bit too far. I think it was too early because I was just kind of like exhausted by 11 a.m. and I was just drained. So I was like, all right, let's start off with 6:30 and then we'll kind of shave it down until I hit that mark where I feel best. So I did that over the course of a week and now I'm back to 5 a.m. and I feel like 5 a.m. is my sweet spot. Like any earlier than that, it gets a little too extreme. Like I love my mornings where nobody's awake. It's just you, the silence, the quiet. You can get so much done. Like for example, right now I'm recording this in the morning. My son's asleep, my wife's at work, and I know he gets up around 7, 7:30. And I can bang out a full episode. I can do more than that in the morning. And then it just really sets my day. So going forward, I'm sticking to my routine. And if you look at the amount of time, like I did, it's not crazy math. Like I actually looked at the numbers. I'm like, okay, if I'm going from 7 a.m. down to 5 a.m. and I'm doing that Monday to Friday, that's an extra 10 hours in my business. And if I'm focused on lead gen activities, man, 10 hours a week, that is going to absolutely feed our business and help us thrive. So I'm excited for that. And the reason why I kind of started getting back to this was, of course, like the leads started falling over the last couple months, and also with Brandon and I opening up Tango Ontario, that's allocating a lot more of our time there. So we realized that to continue on with all of these different projects that we have going on, we've got Commission Breath, we've got Canadian Mortgage Guide, we've got our own book of business, and we've got Tango Ontario. That's a lot of stuff. Obviously, the Commission Breath kind of like helps with Tango Ontario, so it's kind of one it in the same category. And Canadian Mortgage Guide, same thing. It helps with our mortgage book of business. But that's kind of like four separate things that we have to think about and allocate our time towards. So what I realized was we were both doing a lot of dual episodes for both Commission Breath and Canadian Mortgage Guide. So I'm like, why don't we try doing some more solo episodes? And that's going to free up about 2 hours a week of our time. So now I've got 10 hours in the morning, Monday to Friday in the morning that I'm giving myself. I'm giving myself another 2 hours because let's say Brandon does a solo for Commission Breath and Canadian Mortgage Guide that week. I don't have to do it. Those are done. That's 2 hours that week that I get. So call it bi-weekly. I get those extra 2 hours. So say an average of 11 hours a week. That's going to really help me. And then if you add in time to script out the episode for Canadian Mortgage Guys specifically, like we go pretty hard on scripting those out. That's maybe an extra half hour to an hour per episode. So now we're really seeing that, and we loved doing a lot of the dual episodes together. And don't worry, like we still will for Commission Breath, like 100%. Like that's going to be the majority of our episodes probably. But now we're just like really playing with trying to free that up a little bit. And another thing that we started playing around with was we were doing a lot of realtor meetings, like four slides. And our idea behind that was because now that we are merged together, we want to be branded together. We started doing the meetings together, which was actually going really well. We kind of fell into this flow, this rhythm, and it started feeling good. But at the same time, if you're trying to bang out, say, 3 to 5 meetings a week, again, that's you're doing it together. You're really restricting the amount of time you have per day. And now that we have all of these different ventures, we really need to optimize our time. So now going forward, what we're probably going to do is I have a list that I've curated to have Levia, his spouse, dial for me to book meetings, and that's what we're going to do going forward. I'm probably just going to do the meetings myself. And then we're going to have Brandon do something else for lead gen and just focus on that. And that's really another facet in our business that we want to focus on is renewals. Like we all know that as of right now and the following year, we're going to have a lot of renewal opportunity. That's kind of like the buzz in the mortgage space, especially in Canada right now. Like a lot of renewals are coming up in the next year. So we want to capitalize on that. And the majority of our business right now is purchase. It always kind of has been because we've built our business around realtor partners. So we want to get more renewal business. So one thing that we're really trying to dial in is our YouTube channel. And we're very, very excited for it. It's been a slow growth because we had to make that pivot from the Invested Entrepreneur, which was our first YouTube channel and podcast. We switched a couple times, but now we're set on the Canadian Mortgage Guy. Like that's what our brand is. That is what we're focused on is just mortgages and real estate. So now that we have that dialed in, it's a brand new start. So the YouTube channel, like I think I checked this morning, we're at like 34 subscribers. Like it's super small. But I know once we have a catalog of videos in there, and the podcast is actually doing a lot better than the YouTube channel for some reason, not sure why. But once we have a big catalog of videos there, we're going to create this one optimized, dialed in renewal video, and it's going to be maybe 15 to 20 minutes long. We're not sure what the framework's going to be, but maybe an example would be how to get the best rate at renewal time, or how to have the lowest payment come renewal time, or something along the lines of having a lower payment or having the lowest rate. So we're going to dial in this episode, we're going to have it there, and then all of our videos in Canadian Mortgage Guide, let's say we have 30 videos by that time, the first link in the description is going to be directed towards that video. And we're just feeding everything to the one video. So it's kind of like, picture you've done a webinar and you have an evergreen webinar and you have that placed on a website on whatever custom URL you have. Instead of doing that now, I find that people are kind of like, when they hear webinar, they're like, I don't want, like, they're kind of just tired of it from COVID. But YouTube is this huge opportunity, and I've done such a big deep dive on it over the past like 6 months, and I'm realizing like that is the way of the future, in my opinion. And I feel like every mortgage broker should be on YouTube for many reasons. And I understand that it's a big learning curve and it's different from other social media, but like the proof is in the pudding. Like we just had this one lead that came in last week, and like I got her fully pre-approved. It's actually like a solid lead. And I asked her, I was like, hey, because I had this discovery call randomly come into my email. Usually I know who they are because it's like a realtor referral. And I'm like, okay, like she must have saw us somewhere on social, or maybe a realtor gave her our link and she booked it. So the first thing I asked was like, hey, where did you find us? And she said, oh, from the podcast. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I started asking her some more questions. And basically, she started consuming a bunch of our videos, like probably all of them by the sounds of it. And she's in Alberta looking to move to Ontario. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I can do that because I'm licensed in Ontario. And the one video that had her book a call was, I believe it's called multiple offers are back. Here's how you can win the home. Something along those lines. And it's like, I think maybe an 8-minute video. And we have literally 10 views on this video. Like it's our worst performing video. But that was the video that had her book a call with us. That was the one that set her over the edge. It's like, yeah, I need to book a call with these guys. These are my guys. She's already fully pre-approved with someone else, and she wanted to book a call with us because of the tactics and the strategies that we talked about in that episode, in that video. So it just goes to show you that, like, as a mortgage broker or loan officer, you don't need to have like thousands of views on your YouTube channel or podcast. You can have a small amount, and as long as that person that is stumbling across your content resonates with what you're saying, they like you, your personality, and they're hungry and they're motivated to buy or sell or renew, refinance, that's going to lead to more leads for you. And we're seeing that. Like, the fact that we've already closed business off of YouTube and our podcast, and we have such a small subscriber base, like our old channel has like 624. Man, I'm excited. I'm super excited. Like, I can't wait until we have like, call it like 10,000 subscribers, and we have maybe like a baseline of 1,000 views a video. Like, I can only imagine how that's going to go. So what are our future plans with that? We want to build Canadian Mortgage Guide to pretty much like the go-to place for people that want to distill and simplify mortgages and real estate. And by the way, if you're brand new to the mortgage industry and you're in Canada and you want to just learn mortgages, or if you're anyone that's in the Canadian mortgage industry and you just want to kind of see what we're doing there, and the types of videos, like, please go ahead, rip us off. Like, maybe not word for word, but like take our content ideas and framework and make it your own. Like, we're not opposed to that. Like, do your thing, go check it out. So we have the link in every description here. But our big plan with that is we want to build it to this big brand, like call it like 100,000 subscribers, which we think is possible. Because, man, if you look at YouTube, I'll give you an example. You type in mortgage renewals in Canada, you would be shocked how few videos there are about renewing your mortgage in Canada. Like, you think there would be a bunch. There's maybe 5, 6 solid videos about how to actually renew your mortgage and tips and tricks. And the funny thing is, the second video, at least when I search for it, the second video that's ranked is from my old channel, The Invested Entrepreneur. Like, that video was made when I first started my Moffat Mortgages channel, which changed into The Invested Entrepreneur. There's like just under 8,000 views on that. And it's the second ranked video. I did it, I want to say almost 3 years ago, and it's still sitting there because the search engine with YouTube is awesome. It's the second best search engine in the world. It's the same company. It's Google. Google owns YouTube. And if you're looking to, I'm like, man, I'm coming up for renewal. I need to figure out what the heck I'm doing with my mortgage. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm going to search it. but there's so little content out there and nobody has a channel that's actually doing this stuff. So I think there's that huge opportunity. And what we want to do is grow this channel. It sounds unrealistic, but I honestly think it'll be to this point. We have this never ending amount of leads that are coming in from all over Canada, not just Ontario. So we want to eventually maybe get our license in other provinces or have this like as a hub where we pass off leads to other brokers and take a certain percentage of it. And just have that as like our main business model because like at the end of the day like we love mortgages and being mortgage brokers, but we don't necessarily like being in the file. Like in an ideal perfect world we love marketing, sales, and the upfront lead gen type of activities. So if we can have that and then maybe ship off the leads to competent brokers that we've partnered with, then that would be the ideal world for us. So pivoting back to today's current state in our mortgage biz is the start of the year was pretty rough. Like I'll be honest, the first couple months we did not close very many mortgages. Like we had some pretty big expectations this year, but on the flip side, the past, I'd say, month and a half have gone really well for us. We've closed a lot more mortgages. We have a lot more on the pipe, and I don't know if it's a byproduct of how weird this market is. Like I know I've talked to a lot of other mortgage brokers, and they're kind of experiencing the same thing. Like at the start of the year, it was kind of like okay, everyone's starting to sort of pick up a little bit, and it's getting a little bit more active, and then as people realize, like, shit, rates are not coming down for quite a while, then the market just went eerie and quiet. And now it's starting to pick up a little bit from what we're seeing. Maybe it's like the activities we're putting in, or maybe it's the fact that like the last couple pre-approvals I've done, I asked them like, hey, like what made you like want to get started now? And they said, well, we know rates are going to come down, possibly like the next announcement or the one after. So we want to get ahead of that and start purchasing a property before it gets busy again, which is like what you want to do, in my opinion. So I think people are starting to become wiser, especially with social media. They can see people like us that are posting this content and explaining why it's a good time to buy. So I'm predicting a bit of a busier fall for us and the mortgage industry as a whole, because of course we're going to see that cut at some point this year. I don't think it's going to be as many cuts as what we had once hoped for. I think we did like a prediction video at the start of the year, and I'm never doing a prediction again. Like I guessed a 0.75 to 1% cut this year. Brandon was fucking aggressive. I think he said 1.5%. So obviously we were super wrong there. So I'm just going to go like super conservative and say maybe we have a 0.25 to 0.5% cut. So I think regardless, we're going to have a busier fall. And I hope to see our consistency continue down the line with leads coming in and just closing more mortgages in general. And what we want to do with Tango Ontario is we want to make it such a painless experience for brokers as they transition over to the brokerage. Of course, like it's always going to be somewhat painful, but the better we can make that experience, the better it is for everyone. So we want it to be quick, easy, painless for that broker because we just went through it, and the onboarding with Tango is awesome, but we learned some things along the way of like how to properly co-broker a file to the new system or print off an application before co-brokering so nothing goes wrong, or just downloading all like there's so many different things that we learned what not to do. So we're going to like create this system that we can give people and say, hey, like before you merge everything over, here's what you should do based off of whatever submission platform that you have. And not just really going back to like business basics. It's like, hey, someone just joined your program or someone just joined your company or whatever the product is that you're selling. You want to make that onboarding experience amazing for them. So that's what we're going to be doing going forward there. And especially because with Tango Ontario, we are recruiting a lot more teams because of our model. Like our model with Tango Ontario, in case you didn't know, is we offer flat fees for brokers and also for team leads. So instead of the traditional splits that you see, let's say you have a team of 8 agents, then you'd bring them over and you're the team lead and you have your own brokerage. Then we offer you a flat fee per month. If you're interested in all of the different fees, we can just send us a DM. We can send that over to you. And by far, it beats any other split that you have with another network, right? Like other networks might charge you 5% for everything from you and all of your agents' production. But With us, we're just charging you a flat fee and you can make as much money as you want. You set your own rules with your agents. It's your own brokerage. Tango Ontario is the network. We're not giving you the guidelines and rules for you to follow. It's your brokerage. So that's what sets us apart there. And because these people are bringing over agents and it's a big team, that's a lot of agents that are switching over from their current brokerage. So we just want to make that experience super, super painless. So that's a wrap on today's Broker Complete episode. Please let me know, give me some feedback, send me a DM, preferably to my personal Instagram. You can send it to the Commission Breath one too. It will probably just take me longer to respond, but just send me a DM. Let me know what you think. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers.